We have some major breaking news this evening as it has been reported that Dodge is eyeing a return to NASCAR in 2026 in the Craftsman Truck Series. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to the video. As I just said in Sunday, we got some pretty massive and major breaking news this late Saturday evening as it has been officially confirmed that Dodge is expected to make a comeback to NASCAR in 2026. As reported by Jordan Bianchi from The Athletic, Dodge begins process of gaining approval to rejoin the NASCAR Truck Series per sources. He says Dodge is eyeing a return to the NASCAR Truck Series as soon as 2026 season, with the manufacturer having already begun the process to gain NASCAR's formal approval to join Chevrolet, Ford, and Toyota as competitors in NASCAR's third-tier national series. Per within the knowledge of Dodge plans told by The Athletic. NASCAR Corn reports viewing Dodge's submission to field a truck through its Ram brand, and an answer is expected soon. Sources with knowledge of the plan said. While there are no guarantees, sources expect that the league will eventually approve Dodge returning. Such approval would need to happen within a few months to allow Dodge effectively test its Ram truck for possibly hitting the track in actual race year. But wait, there is actual more news in regards to this coming out. Dodge raced a Corson Cup from 2001 to 2012. However, people with knowledge of the discussion says Dodge is returning with the intent to eventually put together a full-time Cup program. That Cup program could be operational as soon as 2027 or 2028. He also says such a plan would be similar to how Dodge last approached entering in NASCAR's Premier Series, first racing in trucks gained familiarity, then eventually advancing to Cup where it felt it could be on a competitive level. This also is very similar to how Toyota entered NASCAR in 2004, where of course they started in the Craftsman Truck Series and announced a formal opportunity in 2002. Then they joined the Truck Series full-time in 2004, and then of course they eventually moved up to the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series in 2007. This is absolutely huge. The last time that Dodge was in NASCAR with full support, was in the Cup Series at least, was through 2012. And the last time we saw Dodge in the Truck Series in some way, shape, or form was going all the way back to 2016. And now it looks like they're going to be coming back for the first time in a very, very long time. This is absolutely huge. We've been talking about the Dodge rumors on this channel over the course of the last couple of weeks. But at the time, they were just rumors during Daytona 500 week. Now, it sounds like it's formality at this point, and this is absolutely huge. Now, like I was mentioning in the article from Jordan Bianchi, NASCAR does have to send the approval process, and NASCAR does have to approve the OEM to get into the sport. But once NASCAR does approve the OEM, Dodge can find their way in. Now, for Dodge to be officially granted into the sport for 2026, they have already had to send a body that had been approved on September 20th for the Craftsman Truck Series. But apparently, according to the article as well, they are cutting costs in regards to the Truck Series for basically have a more uniform body style so that Dodge and the Ram brand could get back into the sport. Now, the big question we have to ask ourselves is, one, how competitive could they be? I would have to think the Ram brand would be very, very competitive. The other question is, why is this happening now? Well, in recent months and recent weeks, and I've talked about this on this channel, I have people that I know, especially my dad, who fall closer to the car brand. If I'm not mistaken, from the Solana side of things, they have brought a lot of people back in that used to be part of the Ram and Dodge brands and the Chrysler brands as well. They've brought them back as of recently, and I think that's a pretty big reason why Dodge is likely coming back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in 2026. The other big question we have to ask is what teams on the Truck Series side could switch over to Dodge in 2026. One that I absolutely think of as a major possibility is ThorSport Racing. ThorSport Racing, from what I understand, they are in their final year of their contract with Ford currently at the moment right now. And ThorSport is a team that has been normally known to switch manufacturers, seems like, on a year-by-year basis. They started off as a Chevy team back when they were around originally, back in like the 90s. Then they switched over to Toyota in 2009 after being with Chevy for many years. Then they switched to Ford in 2018. They switched back to Toyota around 2020 to 2021. And then they went back to Ford in 2023 because of Haley Deegan joining the team full-time, and they've been a Ford team ever since. They signed a 3-year deal with Ford, and that contract will expire at the end of the year. Plus, none of the drivers on the team are under Ford contracts at the moment. Ty Majeski, Matt Crafton, Luke Fenhouse, Jake Garcia, none of those drivers under Ford contracts currently at the moment. And they're not the number one Ford team over there. Right now, Front Row Motorsports is the number one Ford team currently at the moment, despite the fact that ThorSport has been one of the stronger Chevy Ford teams. They're not Chevy Ford teams, one of the stronger Ford teams. They're not the team that I think would be the smartest. And then, of course, you do have Nice Motorsports as the other team I think about. Nice is not the #1 Chevy team. That would be unfortunate for drivers like Ross Chastain or Carson Osborne down the road, unless, of course, maybe we see Trackhouse switch over on the Cup side. That could certainly be a possibility. I look for Nice to be one of those teams to switch. They have some guys under the Chevy camp over there. I think Caden Honeycutt is a Chevy development driver, if I'm not mistaken. And I think there's some other people part of that group, but they probably could exit their contracts because Chevrolet is in no way, shape, or form in desperation when it comes to finding Chevy talent, and they've got a lot of really good Chevy talent over there currently at the moment. But the other big question you have to ask yourselves is on the Cup side of things, because they're eyeing a Cup Series opportunity in 2027. And now the big question is, which Cup teams will switch over to Dodge if they do get approved for 2027 or 2028? To be realistic, starting off, I don't know if Chevy they'll be ready for 2027. I think that may be a little bit of a too easy approach. If they want to get in 2027, they would have to be approved by September 20th of this year, which is still possible, but I think they should be looking toward 2028 at this point. I look at a couple different teams. One that comes to mind automatically is Trackhouse Racing. Trackhouse Racing is not the #1 team currently at the moment, and many people brought this up on their YouTube channels. But this feels very similar to when Toyota joined the Cup Series and Joe Gibbs Racing. They were the second best team in the Chevy camp in 2007. They were really, really good and performing good, but they were not at that level of Hendrick Motorsports. Then they switched over to Toyota in 2008, and since then, they have become the #1 team. Trackhouse has been this team that many people thought of maybe switching different manufacturers. Even if Honda was to come in, people thought about that as well. But I think that Trackhouse is a #1 team. Plus, I know that Shane Van Gisbergen might be a Chevy driver at this point, but multiple of his programs that his family and people are part of are going back to Ford, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know if that would really affect those guys, but I would have to, because Taj could get like Connor Zillage, could get Ross Chastain, could even get maybe Kyle Busch down the road if he leaves at the end of the year with RCR, so that could certainly be a possibility. I think Trackhouse is the #1 most likely team to make the switch over. And then he has some other teams that I think about. One that I think about is Kaulig Racing. Kaulig Racing struggling right now. They're off the pace. They don't have the consistent pace and speed to be up front on a week-by-week basis. They're not as consistently up front. So I would think that they would be one to definitely watch out for sure. Another one that I absolutely think about is someone in the Toyota camp like Legacy. Legacy Motor Club, I know they're really close with Toyota right now, but they're struggling at the moment. And if they go back to Dodge, considering that this is a team that's always switched manufacturers, seems like on a year-by-year basis, and bring in Eric Jones, maybe Hunter Nemechek, I think that would definitely be huge. You're not going to see teams like Hendrick switch. You're not going to see 2311 switch. RFK is one I think of maybe as a possibility, but I don't know if they're going to switch at this point, because Brad has association with Dodge, but you got Jack Roush that's still over there, so I don't think that's very likely at this point. Plus, you got 4 development drivers that are also working in that program, like a Cole Custer, like a Sam Mayer, like a Sheldon Creed, who could down the road go to RFK. So I'm not sure about that at this point. But I think when it comes to Dodge coming back, this is exciting. And the fact that we're getting more and more reports out there confirming this news and not just formalities at this point, this tells me this is far down the line. They're not the only manufacturer that's rumored. Honda is heavily rumored to be joining NASCAR in the future as well, especially with them likely leaving IndyCar at the end of next year, it sounds like. I think it'd be really cool for Honda to make the jump back into sport. Potentially 5 OEMs is absolutely huge, and it's so exciting to see that Dodge is very likely returning to NASCAR in 2026. I'm so excited about this. This is a really huge deal, and I think it's a massive deal for the manufacturer side and the branding side as well. So we'll see what happens when this gets officially announced and confirmed, but this is a massive and huge deal, and really glad to see that this is going to be happening, and Dodge is likely going to be returning to sport. Really excited about this and glad to see that Dodge will be coming back in 2026. So, that is going to be today's special breaking news report on Dodge. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your thoughts about Dodge likely returning to NASCAR in 2026? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and what teams you think are going to switch. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have the starting lineup video for the NASCAR Cup Series race at Atlanta for the Better Health 400. And then, of course, you do have basically the review from the race. And then if the 2311 announcement's big, we'll discuss that as well. And then, of course, we have some other content dropping, like with Shane Van Gisbergen video. And then on Monday, we'll probably react to more of this news as well. Got a lot of great content dropping that I think we're going to be talking about very, very soon. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content of people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch Jr., Motorsports, Kyle Larson, Prime Energy, KSI, Logan Paul, Donald Trump, Cletus Farland, Matt Benedetto, all those good people talking about the channel really, really soon. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.